What's up, guys? Back in today with more Journal of Witch or Ikoku Nikki. This time with episode 7, I believe it is. Episode 8, actually. Great episode last night. One of my favourite ones so far. We got the mother character much more fleshed out last week. I kind of had these notions of her just from what we've got so far and people's opinions, the small scenes we have gotten. But yeah, completely new perspective last week and makes things make a lot of sense with her, both her expectations of herself as well as putting those expectations onto her sister and other people. Just a really powerful episode in that regard. Made me care about her a lot more. Maybe empathize with her a hell of a lot more. Again, I didn't really like her, just as with most of the characters. Well, I say most of the characters are the aunt, who is a character I can relate a lot to, and yeah, just kind of breathed kind of new life into what I initially thought of the mother. I will say I did do a bit of homework and I watched Fried Green Tomatoes, I think it's called. I watched that a few days ago, and wow, that was a fucking awesome movie. In regards to how it plays out in this series, sure, I will pause to start for a minute. It the main characters in there kind of felt like they loved each other. I'm not sure if it was a romantic love, but there was definitely love between the girl that kind of fell in love with his brother, her brother, and the poor girl who's, slight spoiler here if you guys haven't seen it. Guys can just skip ahead. The girl whose brother died at the start of the movie. But yeah, really, like I just found myself just like smiling all throughout. It was I love the way it was told. It feels very classical in the way it's told. I love Kathy Bates. I thought Kathy Bates is a bit of a national treasure. Honestly, I love her in any movie I've seen her in. I mentioned that during the reaction a few weeks back, but she was incredible. But yeah, the way the story was told, Kathy keep coming back from Aussie and like influence her and inspire her. Yeah, it was a definitely check out if you guys haven't seen it. It was really good. One of the best movies I've watched in a little while. Good recommendation. Good recommendation for the series. But yeah, it was really. It added a lot of personality to it. Felt like I was watching like a classic. Fried Green Tomatoes. And then, to be honest, I thought the title was nonsense, but I apparently people eat fried green tomatoes. I didn't even know that was a thing, and apparently it's really nice. I guess I need to try it. Oh yeah, of course we had this whole questioning. There was a really interesting kind of perspectives of how people saw the end of last week's episode. Thank you guys for sharing, by the way. Some really interesting stuff in regards to her mother's the message she left in the diary, how her daughter thinks of it. So you can say what you want about her. I think she definitely tried everything in her power to make her daughter's life like successful, and might seem harsh or strict and such maybe, but I think sometimes that comes from like too much care, if you know what I'm saying. It comes from a good place. But yeah, maybe it comes from this place as well, the place of fear for her daughter, how her daughter like could turn out or something. Maybe scared her daughter could turn out like her or something. But as I said, last week was definitely one of my favorite episodes. Tap 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 away. Tadaima. I was a very happy Tadaima. Um, yeah, just like I said, like I feel like last week's episode was incredible. I mean, this show's been pretty incredible all the way throughout, but there's definitely been some like standouts. Even the ones that I would say haven't been like major standout episodes have been like at least like an 8 out of 10 as well. So, but yeah, last week, yeah. And again, I loved reading your guys' opinions on it. Like, it adds even more to the episode when you hear about all these kind of different perspectives of the situation and how people see some of these things. I will say, if you guys haven't watched Dried Green Tomatoes, it's not like essential viewing. As I said earlier, I'm interested to see like how it kind of plays out in this show. Yeah, I think I kind of get what they're getting at, but I think you could probably not watch it and you'd be absolutely like fine. But I'm glad I did because it was a really good movie. Wonder. Well, I said that said. I don't know what that word is. Wanda. Wanda. I mean, I'm gonna put it out there. You say I'm spoiled, but if I got a fucking mug for my birthday or Christmas, I'd be quite pissed. I think that probably comes from I don't drink tea or coffee, so of course I'd be pissed. I would have absolute no use for it. I mean, I did have a big mug when I was younger, but I just put like orange juice in there, or like yeah, I just put like juices in there. I'd never use it for tea or coffee. Maybe that's quite spoiled of me to say. You got a moody teenager in your hands. How you spell her name? Double M. I guess that makes sense for Japanese actually. Groucho. Yeah. I think she just wants a bit of attention right now. Like, maybe that's saying it wrong. Maybe she doesn't want a bit of attention, but I think she could use a bit of attention right now. And I feel like her mother would pick up on that, whereas her aunt obviously not used to the situation. And given the fact that they were kind of lying to her about this very delicate stuff. It's sensitive right now. Reassuring. Oh, I've never seen that water emoji used in any kind of non-sexual way. What about you guys? I swear, I've only ever seen that emoji used by like middle-aged men. Yeah. Not bad. We're getting the whole band together. That shows you care a lot. Bless you. Definitely. I was gonna say that about what the teacher said. Like, fuck. We're just gonna wait. Just wait for her to come home. I look forward to seeing that. Honestly, I haven't had anything like that yet. I used to do this like not often, but I did used to like sometimes just like skip classes and stuff. I remember one time I got in trouble. Our teacher didn't arrive for like 40 minutes in an hour class, and I left, and then I got in trouble for leaving the class. Took the piss. Yeah, sometimes I'd just walk down to like the sweet shop down the road, have a cigarette, get some sweets. I was quite the delinquent in school. She is a kid. I've said this plenty of times before, but I do relate to her in that sense. Yeah. Like I've seen people like losing people of the same kind of nature, and they're like absolutely devastated and so on. And to me, losing those people like didn't actually affect me. And like it maybe should have. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, he loses. No, they're not the losers for skipping school. As I said, like back when I was doing that, I was like, I was the loser. That's because I was always like pretty good like winging things, like tests and stuff. I'd always like get pretty good grades even about like studying and stuff. So yeah, yeah. I've never revised for anything. Well, I say that I've revised for like work and stuff, I guess, but I've never revised for like a test or anything in my life. And it's a shame because I don't know. I say that. Sorry, I don't want to miss any dialogue right now, but yeah, I was always like just pretty good like winging things, and if I learned something, I'd learn it initially during like the lesson, of which I skipped quite a few, so I would have to wing it on quite a few occasions. A few times that turned out to be very embarrassing in terms of like past presentations and such. Um, Very bad at those. But yeah, I'm just not a revising type of person. If I have to read something over and over again, it's actually probably more likely it won't sink in than if it would have, like, it probably would have sunk in the first time. Um, but yeah, it's probably something people wouldn't like to hear. Like, could have done so much better if you actually like studied and so on and so forth. But that's just not how I kind of go about things. Getting a bit off topic there, I guess. But I did, as I said, I did. My attendance really wasn't that great, so lost a lot of material. I always found myself in. We had a place called isolation, which you can imagine what that is, which I was in very often. It was basically just like a setup of like five, almost like desks, like an office job, like separated, like segregated desks, and you just get given a laptop and you do some work. Most of the time, I choose a place where the person that like would survey us couldn't see, and I just play games like the Binding of Isaac, and just play that the whole time. But yeah, I found myself in there quite often. I have to say, I got scolded quite a lot. There was one time the police brought me and a few friends back to school, literally escorted us back to school, right to the headmaster, and that was it was embarrassing. Because we were smoking weed at this abandoned place. More, please. Who is? That little grump face. Little grump face right there. It's cute, isn't it? I've never had that. Oh, they got some as well. Yeah, I've never had this myself. Oh yeah, I think I've heard that they've got a lot of sugar in them, right? You've been middle-aged. Now you got to hang out with the oldest. Oh no! The turtle snaps back. That's not exactly what's, yeah, I was gonna say that's not exactly what's important right now. You big. Yeah, we are deflecting a bit here, aren't we? You live like a pig. We know that. Knew that as soon as we got here. I do think this might get a little bit heated. You do that. I think you do actually. No, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting myself in their shoes too much. I feel like if I had to take a kid in like this, that would become my number one priority. Well, no, I feel like any normal person would say your mother loved you with all her heart and like the classic spiel. So quite refreshing to actually hear that. It's quite the thing to say when you've lost your dad and your sister, isn't it? Like I said, it's interesting that you say that, and um, yeah, I'm gonna be a mess when either of my parents die. I don't really want to think about it, but yeah, this is interesting. This isn't it? It's like this is like her tranquility. It's like this is like her peace of mind right here. This is her emotions. It's very stable. Like a yeah, it's like an oasis in the desert. Um, over like I can't remember what I was about to say, but yeah, it's like yeah, uh, struggling to get my words out. It's because I had it for a minute there and I lost it. So I was deep in thought. But yeah, this is like a peace of mind, like a visualization of that, and you think of like a maybe a desert storm or something coming through here, um, and that would be like some kind of psychological attack on her tranquility of how she kind of keeps this. I think it was about this line is what I want to talk about. This one, no, not that one. And no one will ever feel the exact sadness I do. I think that's this. It doesn't. Like, I mean, this is kind of sad, isn't it? Like again, it looks tranquil, but it's kind of sad that it hasn't faced like much turbulence in a way. Like she hasn't had those harsh emotions to losing a loved one, that grief, that kind of loss. Um, this place maybe is not as exotic and upbeat as maybe it should be or could be. It's just kind of kept in this low down, kind of very chill, relaxed state, which is cool, but it's kind of sad in a way as well. Like I kind of maybe I'm not wording it right, but I kind of get like this visual like says a lot about what she's kind of saying here as well, doesn't it? They kind of go in tandem. You guys can probably word that much better than I can. But hopefully you maybe get what I was trying to say there. I mean, these we've had these desert kind of portions all throughout the show that have been very enlightening as a visual representation of how the characters feel. Yeah, can you imagine writing something like that for? I mean, she didn't know she was going to die, but yeah, writing something for someone for when you like dead, I feel like that'd be incredibly hard to do. Ah, damn, that's some poetic stuff right there. I like that. That was very poetic. Isolation is a friend to her. Yeah, that's very similar for me. I mean, it's the same for me. I feel most myself when I'm alone, and uh, yeah, and I feel like the majority of humans probably feel the opposite. Like loneliness is them being alone, whereas for me, being alone is not lonely. Weirdly, I don't know. Like I don't ever get. I don't really want to miss anything, so I'll yap. I'll yap. I'll play this after I yap. I'm not going to spend too long, but yeah. I think it's the same for a lot of us people that have like an inner voice. The classic loneliness, like being alone, is not all that lonely. I never really feel alone, and as I've got older, I've much more enjoyed my time alone. When I was younger, when I didn't have like a voice in my head and such, I always wanted to be out. I wanted to be with other people doing stuff. Out of the house, like any chance I could get out, I would get out and like meet my friends and get up to shenanigans as I spoke about earlier. But when I was like doing drugs and stuff during those days, it was also the case of I never wanted to be sober, and I guess that came from a place of not being comfortable in my own skin, which I've never been fully comfortable with, even now. But I have got more used to that over time and accepted again the part of me that is kind of used to this like isolation and such. I actually I guess I kind of thrive in it. I don't know. I could understand people like maybe if they were to dissect my life, be like, "Wow, you're incredibly lonely," but doesn't actually feel that way to me. And again, I think that's the case for a lot of people similar to me, to be honest. Really, same with the aunt here. Um, but it's not the case that I won't go out and do like social events and such. I go out every now and then, but I just I just remember, especially during like my years like 20, 21, 22, coming to the end of like doing drugs and drinking every weekend and such, it just felt like, oh, you know what? I much more prefer spending my time in my own headspace as myself, doing things that matter to me, learning, watching, playing, um, than going out on a night out, getting up to nonsense. And I much more value the time I have alone than doing this kind of useless shit. Um, there's much more at play to it than just that, but yeah, I can totally, as I said though, I can totally understand how some people, like very extroverted people, would be like, "Damn, you live a very lonely, isolated life," but it doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't feel that way. Reading all their books, are we? It's also quite funny. I kind of relate to this a bit as well. I feel like I'm pretty good at like relating and understanding other people's emotions and such, even though I don't feel a mass amount myself to of anything, any situation like this. Yeah, yeah, literally, yeah. This is exactly what I was about to say. I feel like people, again, I'm not perfect at it, but I feel like again, I'm really good at like reading rooms, reading people's emotions, understanding and empathizing with people. I think they're some of the strongest traits I have. Just being able to listen to people is probably one of my best traits, which is very lacking for people um, in the real world, which is a shame. Um, and it's ironic because as we see here with Makio, it's like I feel like people like me and her that maybe are quite cold and seem quite distant and such and lonely and whatever. It's yeah, it's quite interesting how we're both very in tune with other people's emotions and such though. We're able to understand those maybe even better than our own. I don't, I feel like me and her would have like very similar. Like there's that I can't remember what it's called. If it's Myers Briggs, I think. I feel like me and her would have the exact same. I did that a few years back. I think I was at INFJ. I think it was INFJ or something like that. Supposedly one of the rarer ones, but I feel like everyone, yeah, it's one of the rarer ones. I feel like me and her would have like the same or at least like very similar kind of traits, to be honest with you, in regards to a lot of this stuff, because I can relate to this a lot. I, I mentioned earlier there probably was situations where I should have I lost loved ones that I should have been sad, but the saddest part about those situations to me was seeing my parents' reaction to that. Like I was fine the whole time, and then I looked over at my mother crying, and that made me cry, just seeing her reaction like that, um, which made me feel very weird because it's like I mean that's a very natural thing to do. You see your parents sad, it's like yeah, it's sad, but to not be sad at the actual kind of thing, but the like separate thing is yeah, seemed a bit weird to me. I don't know. I don't know. I spoke about that one before, to be fair, so not really too much point going any further. You know, I won't bother sorting out time. I've only got like 50 seconds left, but that is incredibly kind of relatable right there. I totally like I see the juxtaposition where sometimes I like relate to things and understand things that I've never experienced or could never experience, and it's like, well, what? Why should you have an opinion or a thought on this when you've never even had anything like it? And I patch myself for that sometimes. Like, yeah, maybe you're right, but yeah, get rid of those depressed ass books, bro. Progress, emotional progress, right there. And do you know what I was about to say? It's absolutely amazing. Like this sounds bad, but I feel you should feel amazing, Makio, that your books can bring this kind of emotion out of someone like that. Like again, it sounds bad, but if I was in her position, I mean, I'd feel sad for the daughter, of course, but I'd be like, I'd be quite proud that I could elicit that feeling from someone from just like my writing and stuff. But yeah, another fantastic episode. Another fantastic episode, as usual. Will there be an average episode in this show? Who knows? Will there be even an average episode? But yeah, sometimes I do feel like I'm pretty inhuman as well. That's the thing. Like I can empathize and stuff with people. Again, it's hugely ironic. I can like empathize a lot and understand a lot, but I also feel quite inhuman, alien. And yeah, it's like two very ironic things. I can't remember what the other word I was going to say. There was another label. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Another great episode. Another fantastic episode. Dealing with Asa and a little moody, very understandable little moody day out. Having some boba, was it? Again, I've never drank that before, so I'm not sure. But yeah, having some sweet drinks there. Getting interrupted by the middle-aged crew. But yeah, addressing the journal. Didn't go down quite as harshly as I expected it to. I mean, there was a little bit of like feistiness during these scenes here, but yeah, I love the fact that we actually made some progress in regards to her addressing the loss of her parents here, understanding it, quantifying it, and yeah, it was a really powerful scene. Again, I can't relate to this because I've never experienced this, thankfully. I mean, again, I said earlier, I know it will probably be coming, hopefully not soon, but that's like very scary in itself. Very scary. But yeah, I can't like relate to this per se, so I probably have a very good perspective of things from like Makio's point of view, if that makes sense. Like me and her point of view is probably very similar to like what's going on here. But yeah, just like the visual representation of it as well. The book here about the loss. I mean, it's quite obvious what this was about. I feel like this was a lot from like Asa's perspective, wasn't it? But again, I just love the poetic kind of nature of the visuals as well as the description of this, like the beach. Like usually associate this with like happy fun times, like the family and such. So it's ironic that that comes back into play here with the loss of her family. And I love the line Asa said earlier when she was by the here. But like Shakespeare, loneliness is a friend to her. Yet to me, it shows no mercy. Like damn. I love that. And again, just like so accurate. People like me and Makio, it is a friend. It is something to be welcomed, or something that I welcome. Maybe I shouldn't. Again, up to personal debate or whatever. But it's amazing how it can have such a massive negative effect on some certain types of people and like ruin them like mentally and such. Whereas for me, it's like the comfort. And yeah, I love that line. I thought that was so awesome. Very poetic, but yeah, great episode. Love this second half especially. Again, feels like we made a big bit of progress here with Asa. And yeah, looking forward to more as usual. Let me know what you guys thought about this one though in the comments. Spoke yapped for a hell of a lot today, so apologies, especially on a couple of things that didn't actually relate too much to the episode, so apologies about that. I'll try and cut that out in the future, but sometimes I can't just stop. As I said, it's like the internal voice in my head just kind of spins. Whereas if I was in like a social situation with loads of people, I'd just be dead quiet. And like I said, that's just like that. It's the environments you kind of thrive in. This is me being alone in a room with my thoughts. Like yeah, but yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this one in the comment section. Love to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts on the episode, just like last week. Probably plenty more to interpret here, maybe things I missed. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Leave a like on the video if you guys did like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. And I'll catch you guys next time with episode 9.